A person is only as strong as their word, but every day, the world dares you to break it. Integrity with Red Shea is for the ones who refuse to do so. Red spent 12 years in federal prison because he wouldn't break his word. Now, he's talking with people who've done the same. From their battles, you'll see how to stand tall when everything around you falls. Because in a world hell-bent on destroying you, your integrity is the only thing that will protect you. This is Integrity with Red Shea.
We have a special guest today, Sonny, and he has a tremendous story. He's gone through a lot in his life. He's given a lot of his life, if you will, like a loyal soldier. And you're going to love this episode. This he's a solid guy, really solid guy. And that's all we ever want in this program is solid people. Sonny?
Red?
Thank you for attending. Thank you for coming on. I just know how solid you were and what a man you are. And from one man to another, much respect.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
So tell us about, where you came from and where you grew up and all that good stuff.
Ooh.
So that so the audience can get a vibe and know who you are.
I am a small town country boy at heart. I was born in a little town in the middle of Michigan called Carson City. And I was raised there pretty much until I was 16. I had a very abusive childhood. It's one of those towns. It's very beautiful, very quaint, very small. So it's a conglomerate of towns. Actually, it's not one. So it's like Carson City, Crystal, Stanton, Sheridan, Ionia, Middleton. And they all just kind of make up this patch that would fit on one block of LA. But behind the scenes, it is just wrought with abuse, trauma, pedophilia. It is just so rampant there, and I fell victim to that when I was a kid. Apparently, it started. I'd written a book about my life, "Hey White Boy: Conversations of Redemption," and in the book, I started when I was 5. It was when I recall my first incidents of being molested by my uncle when I was 5 years old, and until I was 10. And it turns out that it started when I was 3. And it carried on until I was 12, and that I had just suppressed a lot of this emotion and this traumatic baggage. But that was what my life was from the time that I really recall was, it was a single mom home. I had an older brother who was 19 months older than me. My mom had lots of boyfriends in and out of the house. And I just started being abused. And it was, 2, 3, 4 times a week for years of my life. Every time we go to grandma's house, my Uncle Mike is, luring me up to his bedroom with an Atari and, molesting me. And then my mom's boyfriends, some of our family friends, her family friends. And it was a childhood wrought with abuse and then masked with a loving mother and a loving home, dinner every night on the table, and that kind of
a fake facade,
right? To give off the illusion of a wonderful family, right? And my mother was physically abusive. We grew up. We're the brains of Gen X, right? I was born in 1981, so the last year I was in kindergarten was the last year that your principal could actually whoop you.
Right.
And they took that out. So, we grew up on ass whoopings and water hose.
Sure.
Or hose water.
Oh, I definitely did too, growing up.
And so it was nothing, but looking back at it now, it's like, that's really traumatic. Like my mother used to beat the hell out of us if we did something wrong. Back then it was like, it is what it is.
I'm part of that club.
Right. I mean, you know what? I would like to look back and say, well, it taught me a lesson, but after 18 years in prison, I guess I can't say that it did anything. So when I was 7 years old, my brother and I were playing out by a church that's right by our house, and we broke into the church in the basement and stole some pudding cups and some playing cards. And while we were over across the street in a baseball dugout, a couple of cops rolled up and they arrested us. And I'm 7 years old. This is 1988. And we were arrested and charged with felonies at 7 years old. And went in the first time I ever saw the Honorable Edward L. Skinner in the 64B Circuit Court in Montcalm County, Michigan. And he gave me 60 days probation. And what happened was all of a sudden I'm on probation and none of the guys that are abusing me are around, right? Like, we're not going to grandma's house. None of these men are coming over. My mom's friends aren't coming over. Her boyfriend took off. And all of a sudden I wasn't being abused for 2 months. And as soon as I got off probation, I mean, I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it was shortly after I got off probation, we go back to grandma's house, my uncle starts molesting me again. Tim Klinger comes over to the house to visit, I get molested. Like, my mom's boyfriend comes back all of a sudden, like, where the hell was he at? He comes back, I'm getting molested. And so in my mind, I thought, well, let's go break the law again, because I'll get back on probation and maybe that'll help.
They didn't want to get caught.
Yeah. That was my assumption. I've had a lot of comments and questions. They're like, well, why would you getting on probation stop the abuse? Well, I didn't go back and ask them, right? Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't like, hey, my guy. So
How stupid is that?
yeah. And so that was what my young mind developed as a sanctuary. And so I just started doing it again. I went out, stole something, got arrested, put on probation, safe. Get off probation, here they come, go back, get in trouble, catch an ass whooping from mom, get on probation, I'm safe. And so this kind of became, the mode of my life. And I became this very reclusive kid. I mean, I was very outgoing at one point. I loved to make people laugh. I loved to sing. I loved to play. And then all of a sudden, I'm hiding in the closet with my mom's tapes, right? Listening to Jimmy Buffett and Meatloaf and Styx and Garth Brooks. And she had a very eclectic tape collection, and I would get lost in this music, and this became my safe haven. And so this cycle just continued, right? And I became a target in school for bullies because I didn't have any self-confidence. I used to not shower or bathe properly because I thought if I stunk, these guys would leave me alone.
Yeah.
But apparently they didn't care. But that made me a target in school because then we were dirt poor, and here's this kid that has no confidence or hygiene, and I was horribly bullied in school, man. Like, they used to beat the hell out of me, throw me in lockers, just the typical bully stuff, but it was extremer. And so it's like the only time I had peace was in that closet or if I'm on probation, right? And it just became my life. And so when I was 12 years old, or I was 11, my brother was 12, we stole my mom's car. We were so sick of life and the abuse, and we were like, we're leaving. So my brother grabbed my mom's car. It was a 1986 Ford Escort. It was one of the 4-speeds, right?
Sure, yeah.
Just a horrible car. But we stole it, and we were going to go to Chicago, and I don't know what our grand plan was, but 11 and 12 years old. But we got arrested in Chicago, and that was the last time that I saw my brother. They took him away. He went to a juvenile facility where he then escaped from there, stole a cop car, went to Detroit, got into all kinds of gang activity and trouble, and he was gone. Like, I didn't see him again until I was 21. Which kind of crushed me, right? Because my brother was my world. This guy,
Sure.
He was my protector, right?
And plus you two escaped together.
Yeah,
You know?
and so he was the guy that would beat up the bullies that beat me up, right? Like, I heard you mess with my brother, like, and so I worshiped this guy, and so he was gone, and that's when I really started to get into like drugs and alcohol, and I started smoking weed. I started drinking. It's very prevalent in my little town. And I started to ingratiate with the older crowd. I was a big kid. So when I was 13 years old, I was 6'3", had a mustache. And, I was in really well with the 20-year-olds and the 25-year-olds. And those were
Sure.
still some of my best friends to this day. And that's where a lot of the drinking happens. And that's where a lot of sex takes place, right? And I'm starting to... I'm being abused by dudes, but I'm not a homosexual, right? So I'm over-sexual with females, right? I'm sleeping with, I don't care who she is, and I just sleep with her. And so this was the trajectory of my life. And when I was 16 years old, I was 15. My buddy and I, we got drunk one night outside of Carson City, and we were walking into town. We stopped at a house. It looked empty. Kicked the door in, went in, got some water because we were dying of thirst. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. came outside, stole a couple pedal bikes out of the yard, rode them into town, into Carson City. We'd stole some things out of some cars in the parking lot. Like we were looking for cigarettes or loose change or whatever, and found a cell phone. This is 1997, so it's the old big stupid Motorola. Yeah. And then we were at a gas station, and a cop rolls up, and he's like, "Hey, come here. We got a report of a couple people peeking through cars in the parking lot." Turns out, well, the bike's stolen. The cell phone that in your pocket is stolen. You have some weed on you, and so we get arrested.
Sure.
And when I go into court this time, the judge is like, "Dude, do you have 12 felonies on your record? Like, most human beings don't get that, and you're only 15. I don't know what else to do with you." And he bound me over to adult court. And so when I went into adult court, that judge is like, "I'm not even playing with you." Right? Gave me 6 months in the county jail. And so when I go in, my mom comes to visit me the next day and says, "I'm leaving state. I'm moving out of state with Ed. We're going to go to South Carolina." And Ed's her boyfriend. And I was like, "Well, I need you. I don't know what to do here." She's like, "Well, you'll figure it out." And so in the next couple of weeks, they started bringing all these other charges of things that I had done. Homes I had broken into, things that I had stolen, property that I had destroyed. And it all started to catch up to me. And the judge was like, so I'm going to send you to prison. And full-blown prison when I was 16 years old. He gave me 24 to 60 months in the Michigan Department of Corrections. And I remember not even knowing what that meant when he said it. Right? I look at my lawyer. I'm like, "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, he just sent you to prison." I was like prison? Like Shawshank Redemption prison? And he's like, "Yeah." I'm 16. And that's when my life it went so bad, right? Like a few weeks later, I found myself on a bus going to quarantine in Ionia, Michigan, and it was such it's a culture shift. Yeah. Right. Like I'm from
especially
this,
especially at that age.
Yeah, I'm from this small town. Even my jail is just full of old white drunk people. Right. Like there's no gangsters here.
Right.
And so when I get into this long cell block, it's all gangsters and rapists and criminals and killers, and like, holy shit. Like I'm terrified.
Sure.
And so I remember just trying to be as small as I possibly could. And you got to imagine I'm 6'6" at this time. I'm 175 pounds. So I'm just a string with really long, greasy hair and no confidence, right? And I go down, I get put in a cell, and I think I'm there maybe 4 or 5 days learning the process. And now the doors open during chow lines, the doors open for like 10 seconds and they close. But every 5 minutes they open and then they close. So you can go out to chow or come back from chow. And my bunkie jumps down and he heads out to chow. This is dinner. And I'm leaned down. I'm going to catch the next door because I'm not ready yet. So I grab my shoes. I put my shoes on. And when I look up, the door opens and these two dudes run in, and he's just got this really big, nasty knife. And he said, "You know what this is, man. If you scream, if you fight, you're dead." And for the next 15 minutes, they just savagely raped the shit out of me, right? And something just really snapped him. And so I had been abused most of my life, and so I had this ability to just kind of zone out, like while the abuse is happening, and I'm just kind of in another place. I'm hearing Jimmy Buffett, right, in another place. And I remember it was about 15 minutes because the door opened and closed 3 times, and it was weird that's what I focused on, right? Like the door opened, it just seemed like an eternity for that door to open. Sure. And it opened, and I was like, "Oh my God, they're done," and it would close, and I'm like, "Oh my God." 3 times. And I mean, it was really traumatic. So they left, and I'm laying there, I'm crying, I'm hurt, I'm bleeding, and I get a t-shirt and I wipe myself up and I clean myself up, and I'm thinking to myself, like, if I don't do something, this is my life. This is the Shawshank Redemption, right? I'm going to be passed around like a fucking bag of candy in this place. Sure. I have to do something. And I don't even know what to do. I'm 175 pounds. This is a big old black dude. He's going to beat the hell out of me if I try to fight him. Well, what's that going to do? That's not going to do. Now I'm just going to catch an ass whooping. So I grabbed these pencils. We have these little small segregation pencils. And I grabbed them up, and I'm like, this will work. And I just took my shoestring off, and I wrapped it around there a bunch of times to create a little handle. And the door opened up, and I walked across, and I stabbed the shit out of this guy in the face, right? It's just, went nuts on him. And it didn't really do much damage. I mean, they're small pencils. But the effect was perfect, right? Like, there's blood all over the place. He's screaming. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just laying on the ground as I'm just... And, you know, you hear the keys jingling. We're way down on the cell block, and you hear keys jingling, so you know they're coming.
From the gods.
Yeah, so I ran back into my cell, closed the door, quickly, you know, took it off, wiped all the blood off my hands real quick, and put the shoestring in there, and then threw all the pencils off and scattered them back out, and I'm just laying there just shaking like, oh, my God, right? And I see the COs, they grab him up, and they quickly take him down the hall, and you hear the other guy, his other buddy, CO, you got to come get me. You got to help me. This guy's going to get me too. And I'm like, I'm done, right? Like I'm cooked. I'm about to get in some serious trouble. Like, what was I supposed to do? I don't know what the hell to do.
Yeah,
So
you did the right thing is what you did.
I see them cart him away.
1,000%.
And they take him away, and I lay down on my bunk, and I'm just like, whatever, bro, whatever. I don't care what they do. I don't care. I don't care if you give me a felony. I don't care what you do. I'm never going to be a victim ever again. I've been a victim my whole life. I'm never going to do it again. I don't care what I have to go. And so at that moment, something snapped inside of me that was like, I'd lost all fear. Like, what are you going to do to me? I've already been abused in the worst tragic ways. What are you going to do? Kick my ass? I'm not worried about that. What am I going to do? Get in trouble? Catch a felony? I'm not worried about that either. Screw it. Bring it. Come on, let's go. And they never came. Nobody ever came back. My bunkie comes back. He's like, dude, what happened? I'm like, none of your business. You're right. He jumped up on his bunk.
It's amazing if you stand up for yourself, how it could work.
Something so crazy happened. Nobody saw what they did to me. They all saw what I did to that guy. And so, you know, we didn't come out at all anymore, right? For the rest of the night. You only come out in the mornings in quarantine. And so all night, just laying there, just knowing they're going to come get me at any moment. Heart is just, I feel like my heart's going to just tear out of my chest. You know, barely got any sleep. At some point, I kind of just cried myself to sleep. You know, it's dark in the room, and nothing. Next morning, doors open up for chow, and went out to breakfast, and you could feel it in the air, right? Like, I had respect. People were like, I mean, I'm even getting hand daps walking to the chow hall. Like, and in that moment, I'm like, this is how I'm going to survive. I'm going to do that again, because that's going to make everybody fear me and leave me alone. And so we get on the bus to go to quarantine a few weeks later, and the guy that's riding with me is this Mexican cat named Lalo. And they have an itinerary that's on the bus, so you know who your bunkie is when you're going to the new facility. And we went to Lapeer, Michigan. His name's Lalo. And he's telling me on the ride, he's like, we're going to be bunkies. I'm glad I got a solid-ass bunkie. Saw what you did there, man. You're not scared to put in some work, man. That's really solid. So we get to this facility, and, you know, he's got this big gang tattoo on his chest. And I'm like, what is that? Because I don't know anything about this stuff. And so he tells me, like, about his gang. And, like, you should join us. Like, you're a down-ass guy. We could use you. And so he takes me out and he introduces me to the leader out on the yard. And the leader's like, yeah, I heard about you, man. Like, if you want to be down, man, you go put in some work and we'll put you down. I don't even know what the hell that you're saying to me right now.
Right.
What does that, put in work? What does that mean? Mm-hmm. He hands me a knife, says, those are the Crips over there. Get one of them. Shit. Well, I beelined across the yard without even hesitation. And that started that trajectory for me. You know, here come the tattoos. Let's get as many dumbass tattoos in as many places as I can. I need to get this image, cut my hair, shrink it down, start cleaning myself up. And I embodied this young gangbanger and became that, right? And that was my life for the next 5 years of this bit.
The molestation stopped.
Oh yeah. I've never been a victim since.
Exactly.
Right? And you know, I went to the first private youth facility in the country in Baldwin, Michigan, and it was a war zone. Like, it's just a war. You got to imagine everybody in this place are convicts that have been in prison for a few years, and they're all under 20 years old. And the staff are like the girl that works at Subway who wanted to become a corrections officer, and now she is. And surprise, she's pregnant within a month, and there's drugs flooding the facility. Well, what did you think the Subway girl is qualified to handle convicts? And the place was just bad. So I was there for 2 years, just nonstop warfare. And then I was sent back to the DOC, and they put me in a cell with a guy named Keithon Green, whose nickname is Terrible T. He was one of the founding members of a Detroit street gang in the 70s called the Young Boys Incorporated, with like Butch Jones and some of these other guys. And this guy schooled me from, you are a young, hot-headed gangbanger that's going to end up getting killed or spending the rest of your life in prison, or you can hone this skill in and become a gangster, and you can get out and make a lot of money. And so I let him school me, and when I was 21, they opened the doors. And I had thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison.
Sure.
I was very violent and got into a lot of stuff, and I figured at some point I'm going to get a new charge. I'm not going home anytime soon. But I was wrong. And on December 13th, 2002, here's $75 and 3 condoms. Good luck, right? There's no parole, there's no probation, but you've maxed out this sentence. And that was the first time I saw my brother again, since, you know, I was 11 years old. And something had shifted dynamically, right? He's 5'11", I'm 6'6". I'm this big, scary, tattooed guy now. And he's like the small, quiet one. And so the roles just kind of switched. Like, I was very protective of my brother. If you look at this guy wrong, what's the issue? You got a problem? Like, don't look at him like that, right? Like, I was that guy.
Sure.
And I mean, I immediately hit the streets. I robbed somebody my first day out. You gave me $75. What's that going to do? Like, that was gone in 20 minutes. And then I'm like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have anything. And I just wasn't worried. You know, I go to the gas station and rob somebody with a screwdriver. And the bad part is that I had been trained in being this horrible human being that's not afraid of anything. So what are you going to do to me? And for 20 months, dude, I was just the worst form of life. I ran around, I robbed people, I broke into things, I got into gun running, jewelry heists, just crazy stuff. And I got 2 women pregnant on either side of the country, and just living a very bad existence. And in 2004, on September 2nd, I got caught again for a ring of home invasions and robbing drug dealers and, you know, having all these guns, and got charged with 15 more felonies and sent back to prison for 12 more years. And this time I was like, you know, I want to be better. I have these 2 sons. My youngest son's mom at the time was like, you're a waste of life. Now I have to raise this kid by myself. I'm out. Don't think I'm going to stick around. Like, I'm gone. And so she left. And my oldest son's mom came back, and she's like, she lived very close to the area. And she's like, I want to get back together. I want you to raise your son from where you're at. I'll bring him up to see you. We can do this. I'll go to school. And so I got back with her. And I met her through my brother. My brother used to date her sister for a long time, and she was like his little sister, and he was like involved with their family. And so her and I get back together, and I get a letter from my brother. So my brother told on me, which is how I got caught. And it kind of rocked my world.
Your brother what?
He told on me.
He told
when we
on
got
you.
arrested, my brother was driving the car. I was in the passenger seat, and our other buddy Taco was in the back seat. We saw the cop. He pulls into this driveway, and I run up to the door of the house like, hey, I'm lost. Could you tell me how to get to the highway? And I'm kind of watching, and the cop pulls into the yard. I'm like, never mind. Close your doors. Go inside. And I come out, and the cop's like, don't you move. I'm like, okay. And I take off running. My brother didn't even try to get away, so they arrested him. And his story was, I thought you got away, so I told the cops that I was forced here. And you gave him my name, you gave him my address, you gave him everything.
So your brother ratted you.
He ratted me out.
Okay.
And so I'm like, the cops set this up purposely. And when they caught me a few hours later, they take me into the police station. They sit me in the room next to him where he's being interrogated. He doesn't know that I'm there. And I'm just hearing everything this guy's saying. And I'm like, and so I yelled out, dude, shut up. I can hear everything. And he's quiet as a church mouse. And so fast forward 2 years, he got 2 years for the gun that he had on him. And I get a letter from him, and he says, dude, I just saw the parole board, and they're staying off the decision because of all the new charges that we have. And he's like, I don't think they're going to let me out. I'm sorry. I thought you got away. I thought that's what you would want me to do. Like, why? And he's my brother, and I'm so protective.
Sure.
So I went to court and said I did everything. Like, I was by myself. This guy was nowhere near me. So they dropped all the charges against him, and he got his parole. They granted him a parole. And so then I get another letter from him. Dude, thank you so much. I love you, bro. I'm so sorry. I got a parole. I'm going to be getting out, but I have to parole to a homeless shelter because I don't have anywhere to go. I don't want my brother going to a homeless shelter. So I call up Nikki, my oldest son's mom. Hey,
Sure.
I know you hate him. She hates him at this point because he told on me, and she hates him. I know you hate him, but he has nowhere to go. I can't have my brother living on the streets. No. There's no way he's going to stay here. Like, you need to let my brother come stay there. He's only going to be for a couple months till he gets on his feet, gets a job. You know Frank, he's going to be fine. And so she reluctantly agreed. And the day he got out, I called, like, hey, bro, don't worry about it. I forgive you. Just let it go. Just help her out with the bills. Help out with Caden. Get your shit together. And you got a couple months. Get your own place.
And I just gotta say, I don't know how you pulled that strength out of you to do that, because if my brother ratted me out, forget about it. I couldn't even. I wouldn't even be able to look at him.
I've been so used to betrayal, and like my whole life, this is the only human being that ever showed me love and protection, right? And I wanted to hang on to that so much. Like, maybe he was just scared. He's not cut out like I am, right? Like I'm certified. I've been through this shit.
Right.
Maybe he's just not cut out like me, and you were just scared, and you thought that I could handle it because I've been here.
So you forgive them?
I forgave
You
him.
help them?
And so now we had that phone call. I hung up, and that's the last time I heard from him, her, or my son for months. And you got to imagine, I call every day, and I talk to
Sure.
my son every day. I
Sure.
see my son once a week to nothing. And I'm like, what happened? I call every day. What? Nothing. No answer. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then in October, phone answers. I'm still trying every day. Finally, the phone picks up. This call is from the Michigan Department of Corrections. I'm like, oh, shit. Nikki? Hi. What the fuck is going on? Like, I haven't talked to you in months. Where's my son? Is he okay? What the hell is happening? You're going to hate me. Why would I hate you? I'm like, what the hell is... Well, I'm pregnant. Well,
Okay.
I don't expect you to be a nun. I'm doing 12 years in prison, right? Like, it's...
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay. I didn't think you were going to wait 12 years without getting laid. Not a big deal. You're pregnant. You know what? We'll raise it as Caden's brother or sister. It's not a problem. Just make sure whoever the dude is that you tell the dude, like, fuck off. Like, that's my guy. And, well, that's the problem. It's Frank's.
Your brother.
Done. Yeah. I'm like, done. Like, I don't even really recall what happened in the next 30 minutes. I just know I lost my shit.
Fuck.
Right?
Like, rightfully so.
I'm
Jesus
like,
Christ.
and I recall her saying, we are going to be together. We're going to raise him as Frank's. We're going to raise Caden as Frank's. And Frank thinks you shouldn't call or be around anymore. I'm like, oh, does he? I lost my shit, man. Like, I would have died for this guy. Like, everything that I'd been through for this dude.
Obviously.
Like in that moment, like, bro, if I ever see your face, right? Ooh. And you're in prison. There's nothing you can do about it. What am I going to do? I can't do shit. And so I remember, like, I slammed the phone down or whatever. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to talk to either. It's like he literally just took away the only thing that I had to try to cling to life and be a decent human being. That's all out the window now. I don't give a shit about nothing. I'm reverting back to the old me. And, you know, I had a job in the kitchen. I was running football tickets. We do a lot of gambling in prison. And when I was in the kitchen one day, this is about a week later, I come back from work and my cell is empty. And I'm like, okay. Somebody done stole all my shit while I'm at work. And I mean, it was 5 seconds before somebody called me over and said, hey, that was that dude Flint. And I think it was like 208, the cell that he locks in. No, we saw him go hit your shit. This young gangbanger just came to prison. Guess he wants to make a name for himself by
Stupid.
Very stupid. And I took all that rage and anger and pain out on this poor kid, right? Like, not innocent by any stretch, but not worthy of what happened in this moment. I put my weight pit straps on my hands and I locked my master locks on them so I can't lose them. And they let us out for chow. I was, hey, Flint, so, wow. And I stood there and just beat this dude until they gassed me. Right? The COs are like over top of me, like, dude, stop. Like, and just, and it was just, I was lost in this rage. And so they end up tackling me and they're dragging me off to solitary confinement. And they take me down the long hall, and it's at the very end of the cell 214. So it's cell 201 to 214, 215 to 230, I think it is. There's 30 cells. They take me to the very end. They throw me in the cell, close the door, drop the food slot, reach in, take the cuffs off. I go over to the sink, and I'm pushing the button. I'm putting water on my face. I can't see anything. I got blood and pepper spray all over my face, and I hear this dude, hey, white boy, come talk to me, man. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Look out my cell door, and there's this old black guy across the hallway. He's got his face. You can't see it because, you know, you have this tiny little window as it is, but this is the very end of the cell. So there's this cement cylinder here that's got the fire extinguisher. And so it sticks out like this. So literally, you can see half of his face. It's pressed into the window. Hey, white boy. And I'm like, dude, fuck you, man. Shut up. Don't call over here to me, man. Dude, shut up. Don't talk to me, man. And every day, 2, 3, 4 times a day. Hey, white boy, come on, man. I'm bored. I'm lonely over here, man. We all we got down here, man. You might as well come talk to me, man. And I would just cuss him out, you know. Fuck you. Shut up, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm in there for about a week, and I get called down to see the security classification committee, and this is who hears your misconduct. And they're like, so this guy's in a coma. If he dies, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. We're going to charge you with murder. And then as it sits, we'll see you in 60 months. Head back up to your cell. We'll see you in 5 years, and we'll see if you're ready to get out. And so take back up to the cell, and I'm just, whatever, man. I just don't give a shit at this point. Like, I don't have anything. I'm just, whatever. I go back. Hey, white boy, what happened? I'm like, God damn it, man. I'm like, what, dude? What do you want to talk about? And he said, why are you so angry? So what kind of question is that? What are you, a psychologist, man? You know, I'm in prison. My life sucks. You won't shut up. There's a lot of reasons why I'm angry. And he says, no, man, that's why you're mad. And mad is a surface emotion. And it's temporary, right? Anger is so much different. It cuts deep to your soul. And you're an angry young man. And I was like, fuck you, man. Whatever. And I turn around, I start pacing my cell, and I couldn't shake this question. And I'm so angry all the time. Like, it consumes me. Like, I'm literally I'm a miserable prick from the time I get up.
I have to say, I think you had many good reasons to be angry.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, why? Why am I so angry? And I come to the realization, like, I have been a victim my whole life. Since I can remember, from the time the first memory I have, like, I'm just a fucking victim my whole life. And so I go back and I call over there and I tell him, I just dump on him. I tell him my whole life story. And I'm thinking he's going to be, sympathetic or something. He's like, so what? I was like, fuck you, man. What do you mean, so what? He's like, what are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. He's like, it's not happening to you right now, is it? So shut up, man. don't make sense to me. And he shoots me over this book. He says, I want you to read this book. And he slides it over. And I mean, you see on this book, it's just a black cover and there's just a candle with a flame. And I'm like, it's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And I'm like, it's another prison book. And this book changed my life. Like, I read this book, I'm going to cry just thinking about it, bro. Like, suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it has a purpose. And that sentence, it just hit me so hard. Like, suffering ceases to be suffering the moment you give it a meaning. Such is the meaning of sacrifice. And I thought, if I can find a purpose for the reason that I've suffered my whole life, maybe I'll stop suffering. Maybe I'll stop being so fucking angry and so hurt. And so I read this book, and it's just so powerful, man. Like, this guy went through shit that's 10 times worse than I did, and all he did was try to help people, make people smile, give people hope. And he said, when we can no longer control our environment, we are challenged to control this. And I've never controlled this. This has just been my biggest enemy. And I keep reading. When I'm finished with it, I feel like the world's biggest piece of shit. Like, God damn it, this guy is so good. And, I call over to him and he's like, I want to help you. I want to kind of give you some guidance and wisdom. We're not friends. I want you to understand that we're not friends. But if I can give you some wisdom, if I can help you out, you're so young, dude. You're not in prison for the rest of your life. Life starts at 40. You're like 27 years old. You get out when you're 35. You have so much time to change the world. You don't have to be a victim. Nobody chooses to be a victim, but
Sure.
Every single one of us choose to remain victims. And he sent me over this other book, the Likability Factor by, I think it's I forget who wrote it, but I read it. And I feel like this is a manual on how to be likable. And I'm like, this thing is just showing me what a colossal piece of shit I am. I'm not a likable person. Like, I have no hope. And he taught me about a mindset shift, like how you change your perspective. Wherever you can be anybody you want to be. There's no rule book in this lifetime that says you have to be an asshole. You have to be bitter. You have to be angry. You have to like coffee with cream. You have to like asparagus and hate beets. There is no rule book. You can be anyone that you want to be.
Absolutely.
You can choose your personality.
100%.
And I'm like, how? And so I sank into this massive depression. I'm having nightmares all the time, and I'm having cold sweats, and I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm falling to shit. I mean, I'm falling apart here. And I don't have an appetite, and you can see it. I'm losing weight. And he's like, you have to change this. You have to confront these demons, and it starts with forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the people that have abused you. I don't know how to do that. How do I forgive myself? How do I ask forgiveness from people that I've hurt? I have so many victims that I don't even know who they are. Like, I didn't walk up to their house, knock on the door and say, hey, man, tell me about your life. Let's get to know each other before I rob all your shit. Like, I don't know who they are, right? Like, there's a little boy somewhere that came home and his house was ransacked, and he might have lost the trust that his father could protect him. Or a wife who loses her ability to believe that her family is safe, or maybe a father that now doesn't have a belief in himself that he can protect his family. Like, I caused that shit.
Sure.
How do I make amends I don't know how to do that. And he guided me into writing and said, start writing it down. Write letters to these people as if you were going to hand them this letter, right? Like, write it. So I started this writing process. And at first, I had to send it over to him. She's got to proof check it. And he sends it back immediately like, dude, this is full of excuses. Right? I did this to you because I was raped, I was abused, I was, had a savage life, I was a victim. It's like, all you're doing is making a bunch of excuses. Do it again. And so I just kept rewriting it until it got to my soul. Like, the remorse was so profound, and the letters end up being like, you did not deserve this. It was so unfair to you that I did that, and I am so sorry. If I could change it, I would. There is no excuse for the behavior. I was so lost in my own mind that I didn't think or have compassion for anybody else. I was just living in autopilot, self-centered mode. And once I got the letters down, I started to read them out loud. And this is where I think the most profound time for me came in, where I learned that this is my healing mechanism. I read these letters, and it made me cry so much as I'm reading these letters, because it just feels so bad. And I just kept reading them and pacing, almost to the point where I had these things memorized. Sure. Right? And I'm telling them in this letters, like, I don't know how to make this up to you, but I will spend the rest of my life living the best life that I possibly can to try to make amends for it. Just know that what I've done to you is not in vain. That is a lesson for me in this lifetime, to try to change someone else's life. And he had taught me that God, Buddha, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to call the creative power of the universe, is going to take that remorse and put it on the hearts of these people, and they will be okay. And so I found solace in that. And I kept reading these letters until it didn't hurt anymore. And I kept talking about my pain. I was talking to myself. I must have looked batshit crazy in this cell, right? Pacing back and forth all day, talking to myself.
He was training you. He was training your mind.
And that's it.
He was training your mind to get out of that rut that you were in.
Yeah. And I spoke it until it didn't hurt. I felt the weight be lifted. I started to consume more content. I kept writing these essays and these letters about, I got into poetry and was writing these lyrics and this poetry, and I started to submit them to these competitions that they have inside the prison system, and I started winning. And I got, like, the ADWs coming down there like, this is a masterful piece of artwork right here that you've written. You won. We can't give you the prize because you're in segregation, but just wanted you to know that you won, and you really gave us all something to think about. And that got to the point where the library and the local community in Manistee, Michigan, reached out and said, we would love to supply you with some books. If you have any books that you don't have access to in there and you'd like, we'll send them in for you. And the athletics director set that up, because he's like, dude, you have to stay on this path of learning. And so I was starting to get books, and I'm just consuming these books. And I read a line from Mark Twain that, it's the banner that I live my life by. It's on everything that I have. It's on my Facebook. Let us endeavor to live, that when we come to die, even the undertaker will mourn. And that's the North Star compass of my life, right? I am committed to living the kind of life that when I die, the undertaker is going to be sad. Like, that's how I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered as a good person, not that guy, right? I want to be known as the guy that endured all that shit and can show you what you are capable of enduring and turning around. It doesn't have to consume you, right? Your pain, your trauma, your abuse, it doesn't have to consume you, right? You can choose to move through that pain, because on the other side of pain is greatness, always, right? You only lose when you quit.
100%.
And so I dedicated my life to that after I hit these profound breakthroughs. And one of the most profound things he had me do was write my obituary, right? Because I don't know what to do with my life. I'm uneducated. I don't know anything. The only thing I can do for some reason is read and write really well. I've been able to my whole life read, write, and spell very well. And he said, okay, well, we're going to write your obituary. and write it from the perspective of 5 people that are going to speak at your funeral. What are they going to say about you? And so the first time I wrote it, he was like, dude, you died today? I was like, why? You didn't say that. He's like, what age do you want to be when you die? He's like, well, shit, 110? Write it down. What are these people going to say about you? What did you accomplish in that 110 years? And so I must have spent 2 months on this thing. And I finally had it down. And he's like, now look at it. You have a blueprint for the rest of your life of the life you want to live. Follow it.
It's amazing. It's amazing how, it's like you never know where that help or where that light is going to come from. Really.
Yeah, because in any other circumstance, he and I were enemies.
Yeah.
If I would have seen you on the yard, we would not be talking. You're
Right.
a Moabite. I'm in this gang. We don't get along. Right? Like, I'm a white guy. He's not even allowed to talk to me based on the tenets of his belief and what he does. White people are the devil. Right? And so you never know where it's going to come from.
Exactly.
You have to be open to anything in this lifetime because you never know what the universe is going to give you.
Yep.
And so I was able to turn that 5-year sentence in the hole into 19 months. I started to change the world around me. Like, the guards are treating me better. Right? Like, it's amazing how life is turning around for me in this moment after months of self-analysis and going through this emotional intelligence training. And they came in, they said, we have a new program that's being instituted in the Michigan Department of Corrections. It's called Thinking for a Change. And we want inmates to teach it. And we've saw all the work that you've been doing. And if you agree to study this material, give us a proposal on how you would teach the class. We'll let you out of the hole early to go teach it. I'm in. Shit, I want to get out of this box. This box sucks. I want out. So I studied the material, went and proposed to the ADW how I would do it, and they came back and they're like, we're going to let you out. We're going to let you go do this. And I'm stoked. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get out of GP. Woo woo. And the day comes and they take me to protective custody. I'm like, this is where you're going to teach your class. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Because this is a joke, right? Like, you can't send me in there, dude. I'm a very well-known individual throughout the prison system, especially with my gang. And even though I'm done with gang life, they're going to kill me if they know I'm in here. You can go back to the hole. Okay, you know what? I have made this change. I'm committed to this change. Let's go. So they take me in, and my first class is 30 people. And part of this program is you have to get up and you have to say why you're in prison. 27 of these people are pedophiles.
Me.
And I'm like,
oh, great.
This is the sickest joke known to man. You want me to teach pedophiles how to be better human beings.
It's almost like full circle for you at that moment.
And that's what I recognized. I saw the opportunity, right? There's always, even when it looks the shittiest, there's an opportunity to do something. I am the result of what you do to kids, right? Some of these men, some of you are in here because of me, because of the stuff that I've done to pedophiles, right? Because you get hunted in here, right? Think about this. The kids
You're
that
a better man than me, brother. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well,
yeah, God bless you.
And so I taught this class for 12 weeks to teach you what happens to the kids that you abuse. Stop doing that, right? You may not be able to control your internal proclivity in your attraction to children, but you can damn sure control whether or not you act upon it, right?
Sure.
It's your choice to act upon that. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And here's the damage you're going to do to somebody, right? And so I don't know if it was very effective for these men or not. I didn't stay up with them and keep up with them. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know anything about you. Like, be thankful I'm not tearing your face off.
Exactly.
But when I finished it, I was able to go back, and then that's when the real trouble started because, you know, I went to my gang and I walked with the leader and said, hey, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. And he said, you know, that's not how it works. I'm like, I'm out. And for the next year, these guys beat the shit out of me all the time. I got stabbed 3 times. I got locked. I have these holes in my dome that are just fun because they locked me in the chow hall while I was eating dinner. And they jumped me constantly. And it's like, leave me alone, dude. I need you guys to stop, right? Like, I did my time. I was faithful to our shit. let me retire in peace.
And I didn't rat on anybody.
And I never ratted on any of you. And finally, I tore off really badly on the leader on the yard, and it's sad that that's what has to happen. But then they finally leave me alone after that. And I spent the rest of my time just teaching guys. I learned yoga and all this other stuff. And this is where you learn, like, you don't have to do that kind of time, right? Like, you just because you go to prison doesn't mean that you have to have that experience, right? There's guys that go in there, and from day one, they start learning and growing and take advantage of the time that they're there, and they educate themselves, and they become better human beings, and they work the process, and they don't get stabbed, they don't get jumped, they don't get beat, they don't get raped, they don't have a hard time. They grow. and you can, that's a choice. So I have to come to the realization that everything that I've gone through is also a matter of choice. Like, I put myself in those scenarios. And then, 2016, I was released, and that's, I hit the streets, and I was married, and took all of about 6 days to realize that this marriage is not going to work. Like, you want to go work, come home, watch TV, have dinner, and rinse and repeat. Like, I've been sitting on my ass for 18 years. Like, I don't want to do that. And so we amicably divorced. I was doing demolition in Cleveland with the labor union, the 310. And I started.
So you're a union guy.
Yeah. Well, I was then.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was the laborers union out of Cleveland is a good union. Like, those guys are pretty good. I mean, they kept me in work, and it's a
benefits.
Very much like a brotherhood. It was very good. So I had a very good experience with that. But I always said, I'm going to be a famous musician. That's my goal in life, is to be a famous musician. And the day I signed a record deal is the day I stopped working for anybody ever. And so, fun time. I met these guys, built a band in 9 days. 90 days later, we got signed to Ferocious Records, and I quit my job. I walked away from the union. I walked away from working for anybody ever, only to realize that, you actually owe the label money. Right? Like, they're not paying you a thing. Like, they bought the tour van, they bought some gear, they gave you some upfront money, and guess what? You have to pay that back. You either do it through album sales and ticket sales and merch sales, or you just pay it back however best you can. And the band failed, right? Like, half of you are drug addicts, half of you are alcoholics, you're not professionals, you just wanted to be rock stars. And so now I'm the one that signed the contract, so I incurred the debt. So music, I mean, it was great. Like, we toured around the eastern part of the United States. I did headliners in Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Florida. Such a good time. And I mean, I went from the cell to the stage, and I loved it, right? Like, this is magical. But I lost track of the plan, right? And like Mike Tyson said it best, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Until you get punched in the mouth.
And it's like, I had this massive plan. I walk out the door and got this music, and it's like the world just hits you. After 18 years, bro, like, the world didn't stop because my life did, right? Everything advanced so heavily. Like, the phone used to send a text, and it would go into an envelope and flutter off the screen, and 10 minutes later, somebody got a text. And now there's a TV on the damn thing. Like, and like, life was just, I had to catch up.
Yep.
And the music thing took off really good, but then COVID hit, and I started YouTubing, and I did really well on YouTube. And I blew up with a global fan base, about 50,000 subs in like the first 3 months, and started making really good money off of my YouTube channel, and came to the realization I didn't want to be with the woman that I was with anymore. She's just not a good person, but we have this kid. And so I stayed with her because of the kid. I didn't want to, to break up this home. And I just got to the point where I can't do that because you are just driving me nuts, and I'm losing who I am because I'm stuck with you, and I don't want to do that. And so I started the podcast, this show called the Morning Brew, where we just found good, positive news in the world and spread it out, because the news is just going to feed you a bunch of shit. It's all bad stuff. And I want people to realize that life is so much more beautiful. You have freedom, you have healing. There's just so much in this world that you need to see. And that's what kind of really got me back on the track
and life is short.
This is what I need to do. I need to use my life to show you what you can endure and how you can overcome things. And so I left her. I came home, sat her down like an adult and said, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm out of this relationship. And she went ballistic. She destroyed all my stuff. I ended up homeless. Like, in 24 hours, life was completely different. I'm like, okay. I'm going to show you how you get up. Like, you only lose when you quit, right? I've lost everything, but here we go. We'll just start rebuilding.
You get knocked down, you get back up.
Right, and kept getting up. And it was shortly thereafter that my booking agent said, hey, I found a podcast in England for you to be a guest on, this lady in England, and I think it'd be a great podcast. And this is the lady that I'm married to this day, right? When I got on this podcast with her, just in an hour, I fell in love with this woman. Like, it was the most vulnerable I've ever been in my life. It's just a kindred spirit, like twin flame. Immediately, like, I love this woman. Holy shit. And it was the same. And eventually, 3 months later, she wanted to come to America. I said, let's go. She said, let's go to Palm Springs. I said, I hate Florida. She's like, nah, it's in California. And then we moved out here, and we have been building a purposeful life ever since. She empowered me to remember, like, your life is not typical, and your experiences and what you've been through and the person you are will help so many people know what they can overcome, because most people don't. She calls me the accidental Buddhist, right? Because I'm like more Buddhistic than anything, and I've never studied Buddhism. But she's, you will help so many people. We need to put your life in a book. You need to start hitting these stages and talking about your life and your story and tell people. So I started volunteering in juvenile facilities. I got on the Riverside County Probation Department subcommittee to help organizations access funding. And going into the juvie halls really did something profound for me. I mean, there was PTSD, to be sure. Like the smells, the sounds, the rings. It was really hard for me. But I gravitated to this kid who was facing juvenile life, and he took to my mentorship really well, and we changed this kid's life. And then last year, he just graduated high school, no felonies, cleaned his record up, turned his life around. This is what you can do when you start the process of forgiving yourself. Is that? Right? Anybody can do this. And that's it. I have now dedicated my life to this, man, and this is where I'm at.
They always say, behind every great man is a great woman.
No doubt. It's a team effort, to be sure. And that's kind of where we're at until, as of.
So you're still working with kids and mentoring?
Not in that capacity. So I founded my nonprofit organization, the Von Cleveland Foundation, to provide mindset coaching and personal development materials for marginalized youth. I didn't know anything about nonprofits, and I stacked it with my board of directors are great, kind, human, loving people, but know nothing about nonprofits. So we've not really been able to execute much. But through that, I've made a lot of connections with the ability to work with kids. And it's really profound for me. And so I recently, through my TikTok, I met Jim Cole, who is one of the directors at the organization called Operation Lightshine. And it's an anti-trafficking and CSAM exposing nonprofit. So CSAM is child sexual abuse material. Mm-hmm. And these are the guys that scour the dark web and bust these guys that are abusing their kids and selling the content on the dark web.
Touche to them.
Right. And so when I saw that, I'm like, I'm in. However I can help, I'm 100% in. And they were like, so we have a joint operation task force leading an operation in Jacksonville, Florida. If you want to fly out, we'll put you up in a hotel. We'd love to bring you in and show you what we do. And because we were talking about partnering up for this upcoming tour that I've got. So I flew out there. Tim Tebow's there. And I mean, we all know Tim Tebow, right? Like we all remember this guy's a phenom in college, comes to the NFL and is like, this ain't college. Yeah. And, and then he just disappeared. And
very religious guy.
He's super religious.
Yeah.
And it's such a full circle moment that this happened. I was scrolling through my Instagram and I saw the Sean Ryan podcast, and there was a reel on there, and that's Tim Tebow. And I'm like, Is that Tim Tebow?
He played for the Patriots for a little bit. With
Yeah.
Belichick.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so did he? I know
For
he went to
what-
Denver. Did he?
He was in Denver, but he would try it out with the Patriots. He was.
I heard he was coming back as a tight end. That was the last thing I ever heard of Tim Tebow. Was that he's
He's a hell of an athlete.
trained-
That's for sure.
this guy is so much bigger than I thought. I
Yeah.
thought he was like a Drew Brees type of guy. This dude's huge. But I saw him on this podcast, and he's talking about the thousands and thousands of kids that are being trafficked and abused, and the content being sold. And I'm like, good on you, Tim. Like, way to use your celebrity to raise awareness. So I sent him a message on Instagram and just said, dude, I just wanted you to know, you'll probably never see it, but I'm proud of you, man. Thank you for what you do. It's such needed work, right? Like, you're just a hero. And then Jim Cole, that conversation happens. I fly to Jacksonville, and then here's Tim Tebow. And I'm like, that's full circle. How did that just happen? Like, Tim. And so we addressed this room full of agents. We saved 25 kids last week, man. And to seeing this
How
was
huge is that?
so profound for me, right? Like, to watch what these men and women do. But then to learn the stats of it. You know, the government gives $40 billion a year to drug recovery.
Right.
But only $250 million a year to saving kids.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is that possesses people to want to molest children? Grown men.
Well, I think
grown men.
I think it's an attraction, right? It's an inherent attraction. If they said red, it's illegal for you to be attracted to or have sex with women. We're probably going to jail, right? Are you going to stop? Or are you just going to be like, well, you know what? It's illegal, so I guess I'm going to go get with a man now, because like, I'm not going to be able to do that.
I can't comprehend it. I'll be honest with you.
And so for me,
I can't conceptualize that.
I think they just
that some grown adult would abuse a child. I can't conceptualize
and you can't
that.
use well, they were victimized too excuse. I've never been attracted to a child in my life. I've never even come close to harming a child, and I've been abused my whole life. So it's not the fact that they were abused as well, 'cause that's an excuse. So the only thing I can come up with is that they have an inherent attraction, like I do to women. You must have an inherent attraction to kids, which I just don't understand. I don't get it. I can't comprehend it either. I think it's a power struggle.
I'm not a doctor or anything like that by any means, and neither are you. But
No.
maybe it's something that has to do with the brain. Maybe that off in that brain somehow. I have no idea. But
I don't know either.
That's something to think about, right?
My closest conclusion could be that that's your attraction. That's what you're attracted to. And I don't think you can fix that. You can't change that.
I would say, I would say with someone, it's like being a drug addict. I don't know if those people, that type of person, could change themselves.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The only
Because
thing you
once you're
can
a
give them
pedophile,
is
I
control.
think you're going to be. I think you'll always a pedophile.
Always. That's what I'm saying. It's an attraction that they almost don't choose it, right? Like, you are just, that's your attraction. The difference is that you choose to act on it, right? You don't have to act on it, right? Like, I'm attracted to women, but that's not my wife. Doesn't mean I don't find her attractive, but I don't have to go pursue her, right?
Well, the thing is this. It's one thing, yeah, you're attracted to women, I get that. But if you're an older person and you're attracted to a young woman, a young kid, a young girl that isn't of age, that's a sickness too.
It is a sickness.
That's a sickness
it's
too.
It's a disease.
So
it's an incurable sickness.
Even if these molesters were attracted to other men of their age, that's their business.
That's their right.
But to be attracted to a child when you're an adult, there's definitely a sickness.
That's
there.
absolutely a sickness. It is something
And there's
off in your brain.
in my mind, there's no correcting that.
There is no correcting that.
I mean, it's
you
a
put
bad
down a
thing.
rabid dog, you can't fix a rabid dog. I think a pedophile is pretty much the same as a rabid dog, right? Like, you have an inherent sickness that I just don't trust that you can fix. And maybe we're both wrong because we're not doctors. Maybe you can fix it. I've never seen it. But I also know that, I don't know the number, but I'm sure 90% of pedophiles are repeat offenders.
Right. And
We see it time and time
and
again.
let me ask you this question now. Are most of these pedophiles people who were abused when they were younger?
I mean, I don't know the statistic, but I'm sure a lot of them were, which is why the argument exists that, the pedophile does what was done to them.
Yeah, but
that's bullshit.
Exactly. This is where you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
You're somebody who experienced that and was abused and molested when you were a child multiple times.
Multiple times.
And you are disgusted with that. You don't have any attraction to anything like that.
I don't even like
abused.
20-year-olds, right? I see you as a child because when I was 20, you were like a year old.
Right, because you know right from wrong.
Right.
You knew right from wrong. Now,
I don't even know if it's so much that, Red.
now
Like just knowing right from
you're not
wrong.
the only person who I know of who's been abused when they were younger and changed their lives.
No.
And this particular individual has his own family. He fought. He was in the military, and changed his whole life around.
And has never
Raped
raped
he
a child.
he's not attracted to children.
Right.
So this concept of them saying, well, because they were abused when they were younger, so that's why they're abusing people now of young children.
No.
I don't get that.
It's an excuse.
I don't get that.
It's an excuse because they don't want to, I think, they don't want to accept the fact that you can't fix it. Because if we have to accept the fact that we can't fix it, we might as well put them down. And we don't want to be that society where we're like, well, they're not a dog. That you don't just put down a human. Would you have put Hitler down if Hitler was, if you knew what Hitler was going to do? Would you have put him down?
Of course they would have.
Right. You know that this guy is, or this woman, because there's women that do it too, but this human being is going to victimize kids as long as they're alive.
And
why would we not just put them down?
And there's so many of them, if I'm not mistaken, that it runs throughout the world. They have like it's a
dude. The largest organization right now that Operation Lightshine is penetrating has 1.5 million members. 1.5 million members that are trading child sex abuse material like it's baseball cards. These are men and women that are raping their own fucking 9-month-old babies and taking photos and videos of it, and they're selling it on the dark web to each other, where they come in and they announce, "Ooh, I got some new content."
I'm gonna be very honest with you, brother.
And I'm like,
I really, really have to be honest with you. And I know that you like the positive part of it and all that and everything and what you've learned and came through and made you a much better person in this world today and the person who you really should have been anyway. But I'll tell you, I have no mercy for them people.
None.
None of them. None of them.
None. And you're going to get, I'm sure we'll get a bunch of wonderful comments about, oh, well,
Great.
What mercy am I supposed to have? These are innocent kids. These are innocent kids that this stuff is happening. And here's the thing that really burnt my ass the most about learning this whole thing. 70%, and I've literally found one person since I've come home and asked this, 70% of Americans cannot name one anti-trafficking organization. Go for it. Can you name one?
Well, I can't name the organization, but I know it happens.
But this is the problem.
And I know that it happens.
This is the problem.
The networks are worldwide.
Absolutely. But most people cannot name an anti-trafficking organization that saves kids.
Right.
They can't do it because nobody talks about it. They don't want it to be public knowledge. But you can name 5 or 6 different anti-drug or anti-alcohol or anti-homeless organizations. We can name Betty Ford, AA, NA. We can name all these things The government puts $40 billion a year towards this.
Why do you think that is?
Because you see the drug addict. You see the alcoholic. They're begging for your change on the corner. You see them. You don't see the 9-month-old baby that's being abused because it's done in the dark. We don't see it, so we don't think and most human beings can't fathom that type of abuse to a child, to an infant, to a baby, to a toddler.
Correct.
And so they block it from their mind. They don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. You'll see it all. I don't want to hear it. Well, guess what? Your fucking comfort is not as important to me as that child's life. So I don't care if this conversation makes you uncomfortable. Think about that kid. Imagine being the 9-month-old baby. How do you think their comfort levels are right now? So if you're uncomfortable, then fucking do something about it. Right? Go find out these organizations that exist. These men and women are killing themselves to save these kids.
You never ratted in your life on anybody and all the things that you've done. All the things that I've done in my life, I've never ratted anybody. But I'll tell you what, if there was a molester of children or a child, and I knew that,
all bets are off.
I would handle it myself. I'll be very honest with you. I would handle it myself. I guarantee you. That's how much I disrespect those people.
It's so bad. And
they wouldn't have to worry about me ratting on them.
Yeah.
Because
no, we're going to take a long ride, man.
The Grim Reaper would be coming.
And it's really sickening of the lack of knowledge that's put out. You know, Tim Tebow and Jim Cole testified before Congress a year and a half ago, and they read a letter. You can look this up. People that are watching, Google it. Tim Tebow testifies to Congress. He reads a letter from a 7-year-old survivor who was rescued. And there's not a dry eye in the room. Like, we're all feeling it. Like,
sure.
And they're asking for more money because we can't fight this fight without more resources. And fucking Congress cut it by $2 million after that. We give $40 billion a year to fight drugs and alcohol, but we give $200 million a year to fight saving kids. Here's a news flash. Those kids that you're failing to protect become the $40 billion problem that you're trying to fix. So why don't we take $1 billion of that or $2 and give it to these people that are fighting this fight? These men and women are coming in at 7 o'clock in the morning and consuming this abuse material all day so they can identify something in that photo or that video that gives them a location so they can go save this kid. These agents are dying from vicarious trauma. They have to watch these kids be abused so they can identify something and go save these kids.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how they handle it.
I don't know how they handle it.
Don't know how they handle it.
I've got a pretty iron stomach, man. And there's no way I'd be able to do that. But this is the thing. It's like some of them have bourbon in their thermos at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? Some of them are stuck in depression.
And,
some of them
I don't blame them.
Yeah, well, who would? Right? And that's the thing. When I address this group of agents, like, you are the heroes that I needed when I was a kid. And I spent my whole life hating police because I didn't know you existed. Right? There's so many of these abuse victims out here that have no idea that this organization exists. They don't think that there's anybody out there looking for them, so they have no hope. So they hang on to their abusers. They hang on to their victimizers. They keep running back because when you do get caught by the police or something, they take you in there and they interrogate you like you're a criminal, and you're scared, right? They don't put other abuse survivors in there with you to say, "Hey, man, it's okay. You're safe now." No, they put them in there with these asshole tattooed cops that are like, "Tell us where you were at, what happened," and you feel like a criminal. And what you're shocked when this kid runs back to the victimizer.
Horrible.
It's horrible.
Horrible.
Red, it's horrible. And
Absolutely
we need to do
horrible.
something about it, right? So that's what I'm doing.
So it's incredible, and all that you've gone through in your life, and the life you walked, and how you come out of it as the man you are today. Tremendous outcome. I really mean that. In the work that you're doing today, what organization would you suggest for people to log into to maybe donate and stuff like that to help these poor kids that are being abused?
OperationLightshine.org is the first and foremost. They're amazing people. They do amazing work. And the National Child Protection Task Force. You can just put either of those in. There's so many of them, but you put these in and donate to these people. They need it.
Absolutely.
They need that help. $20 can save the life of a child.
100%.
Right? And if is it not worth it? Drop the fucking Starbucks for a week and donate whatever you would have spent in Starbucks. Donate it. Right? They need it. And so I'm launching this initiative on this tour that I'm doing. I'm going to 22 cities for the Conversations of Redemption tour to teach people how to use your voice to heal, to raise awareness, to let survivors know you're not alone, and it's okay to own your trauma and speak it. This is abuse you didn't ask for. You didn't ask to be a victim. You should not be ashamed that you're a survivor. And so use your voice to heal. And at the same time, I will raise awareness for these organizations. Every time I sit down with somebody like this, Red, I'm talking about it. Right? I will not shut up.
I can't tell you what it's a sad thing, a tragedy, disgusting, but I can't tell you how important it is for you to be here speaking about that today. And speaking about your life and what you've gone through. Tremendous. And people need to hear this. So, you know.
And I tell you, it goes back, Red. Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment you give it a purpose.
So
I don't suffer anymore because this is my purpose.
Let me ask you this. For the audience, what type of advice would you give to people, to children, young adults? What type of advice would you give to help them?
For abuse survivors?
For everything.
Speak. Use your voice. Stop giving a shit if people don't want to hear it, right? And that's it. Most people, they feel like, well, women especially, women are usually blamed for being victimized. They turn it around and say the woman, somehow we shouldn't have wore that short skirt, or you shouldn't have been hanging out with those dudes.
Perpetrators do that.
Right.
They like to make you feel like you're the victim. That you're the person. You're the wrong one.
And others, mostly men, feel they're not going to be believed. They feel they're going to be judged. They feel they're going to be ridiculed. Their shame. It doesn't matter. Do it anyway. Speak. I promise you, it is the greatest thing you will ever do, is to use your voice and tell your truth. Speak your story. Speak it until it doesn't hurt anymore. Keep saying it. Tell anybody. Whenever you have a conversation, I can't tell you how many people I've had conversations with. In the first 5 minutes of knowing me, you're going to know I was in prison half my life and that I've been raped and victimized. Period. I'm going to get it off of my chest. I'm going to tell you immediately. You can judge if you want to talk to me or not after that. Yeah. Right? That's up to you. And I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. I don't care if it hurts you because, you know.
It's funny because it's what you just said is what I have done. When I first met my wife, I did the same thing. I explained to her who I was and how much time I did and the crimes I committed. And she thought about it, and she said, I don't care.
It's a good woman.
I think you're a good person. And I love her for that.
That's why I found my wife. Never once has she ever been like, you're a piece of shit.
Exactly.
Never once. And she knows the things I've done.
And let me tell you, if she said, I can't go near that guy, then so be it.
Yeah, I can't fault you for that either.
Exactly.
If you're afraid because I have a past, it's okay. Right?
Yep.
You're not going to go very far in your lifetime by living in such a box, but that's your choice, right?
Exactly.
That's your life to live, and I can't tell you how to do it. Yep. Just like you can't tell anybody else how to live.
Nope.
Nobody can tell you either, right? And so that's where we're at. And then
great advice.
These women that look past that, it's while we are blessed to have the type of women that we have, they have their acceptance has been their gift, because you're a gift to her. I promise you that. You have probably inspired her and given her hope and pride, and she knew that she made the right decision. She followed her instincts, and you gave her that confidence to know that her instincts are right. Right?
Especially when others might have questioned her.
No doubt. My wife lost her and all of her friends. Everybody in her life was like, you left this guy and got with a convict, ex-convict, right? But again, it's and now that's the gift. She gets to have empowered me to be the best version of myself. And now my reciprocation on that is you get to watch as I heal the world as much as possible, right? And it's a blessing, right?
Well, I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have you and appreciative to have you on this show.
Ditto.
And for the future, I'm going to start donating immediately to the cause and helping. And I want to thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you and continue that great course that you're on.
Thank you so much for having me. And Red, keep this going. What you're doing right here, it has the potential to save so many lives, right?
Thank you.
And don't ever stop, man.
I will not, brother.
Thank you for having me, my
No,
friend.
thank you for coming on.
1 second. Do you mind just doing that outro one more time? Because we got a lot of.
The what?
That outro out one more time because we had a lot of disturbance right here.
Okay.
Just do that outro.
What part?
Where you start to thank you for being here.
Okay.
Just closing it out. Just closing it out.
Okay. We got to do it over again. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for coming on. Incredible story, incredible work that you're doing now. You're a real man, and I can't thank you enough for coming on.
It's
unbelievable,
reciprocal, bro. Thank you.
And I'm so glad that the people are seeing this and will see it. Tremendous work, and keep it up. And I'm going to donate. I'm going to make sure I donate, and I'm going to make sure everyone watching gets to know this, and they're going to donate too, I'm sure.
It's important. And thank you, Red, for creating this type of platform, bro. You have no idea how much this helps. The people that are afraid to reach out and speak, this is where they go. They come to podcasts to watch other survivors, and it gives them hope.
Wow.
You are creating hope. Thank you for having me, Red. I mean that.
That's why it's called Integrity with Red Shea. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.